time. Claire Pistol's still here. I know you've got a very, raised in a military family. I know the next story is very, very personal to you. But Dacorum Borough Council in Hertfordshire have decided that on the 8th of May, there will be no formal event of any sort, no formal parade for local residents to mark the 80th anniversary of VE Day. Instead, they say you should host your own local parties. It's up to you, do what you want. And the reason why they've decided this is because it's too elitist to hold a VE Day parade. Let's talk about this with Hugh Andre. He's Chief Executive of WeServed and also a former British Army captain. Very good afternoon to you, Hugh.
Hello, Julia.
I have to say, I think this is code for, it's too sort of white. I don't like making these claims normally, but it's just sort of, this is just something that will only appeal to a certain group of people. But this is talking about commemoration, a very significant anniversary of an incredibly, probably the most significant event in the last 100 years in our country. And they think it's too elitist to mark it. What on earth is going on?
No, I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. How can victory over fascism be elitist?
Yeah.
I mean, if that local council wants to understand the meaning of elitist, perhaps they should look at what the Aryan race was all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It is extraordinary. I mean, it is extraordinary. I mean, people might want to have their own events and everything, but this is a Lib Dem-run council, I think, interestingly. They did hold a day-long event last year called 50 Fest, which marked the 50th anniversary of the council existing, and there will be other events, but I just think this is the thing. We often seem to have, and we've had schools recently marking certain events like Refugee Day, but not doing an Easter parade. And there are various cultural events, religious events in this country that have just been the norms of our lives. But this is, as you say, this is something that shaped our entire country, our entire history. This is emblematic of everything our country should stand for, our victory over fascism and the country coming together and fighting this incredibly important war for the future of our country and all of our freedoms. I can't think of anything more worth marking and celebrating and venerating.
No, and those very brave men and women who won that victory, they're becoming fewer and far between now.
Yeah.
And they won't be along. And
this is probably the last major anniversary, the one with a zero, that they will be here. We're down to very few.
Absolutely, and as a veteran and someone who's lost friends as well. Churchill said, let me just read what Churchill said when that day. He said, "This is your victory. In our long history, we have never seen a greater day than this. Everyone, man or woman, has done their best."
Yeah,
that was all about
shivers.
Everyone.
Yeah, shivers down the back of the spine as you read that, about how significant that is. And again, in these days, we just talk about blasphemy or things. There are so many people who just do not understand that the freedoms we've got right now, the values of our country, they're not universal. They were fought for. People died for them. They wouldn't exist without those people.
No, and Julia, a couple of weeks ago, myself and the team from WeServed were invited up to Manchester to attend an iftar celebration by the British Pakistani Muslim community up there. It was full of members of the armed forces.
Yes.
And I had to get up on the stage and say a few words. And I just wanted to reiterate, in the armed forces, whether you're black, white, gay, straight, vegan, a meat eater, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you do your job.
Yeah. And you're a comrade in arms. That's what matters. You won't believe this, genuinely, in the last 2 minutes while we've been talking, bearing in mind this is a Lib Dem council that decided against this. Obviously, the backlash against this has been a bit too much for Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey, certainly ahead of local elections in a few weeks' time. I don't know whether they're taking place in this borough or not. The VE Day parade is now going to go ahead. Funny that.
Common sense prevails.
Round of applause for that, but only once it was publicised. Hugh Andre, thank you for joining us. Fantastic words from you, Chief Executive of WeServed and a former British Army captain himself. Look, I believe elections are taking place. I wonder if that's one of the reasons why other parties will be standing in all those elections. But Claire, I know, you come from a military family. This stuff is really close to your heart.
Yeah, it absolutely is. My father served in the British Army in the Royal Signals, as did my grandfather and great-grandfather. And my son very proudly attends the Duke of York's Royal Military School with a bunch of kids kids whose parents are currently serving overseas.
And we appreciate that. My goodness, we need people to be doing that. Thank
absolutely,
you. Absolutely.